BJP is coming back to power in Karnataka. The party looks all set to cross the halfway mark on its own. Thanks for joining us on this special version of Power Lunch. I'm Harsha Subramaniam. The clear focus of the show on the Karnataka elections. The headlines first. The BJP looks to secure a majority in Karnataka on its own, reducing Congress's count to just 2 states across the country. Markets cheer the BJP victory in Karnataka. Experts say it's a clear indication of what's in store in 2019. Piyush Goyal gets additional charge of Finance Ministry till Arun Jaitley recovers from his surgery. Smriti Irani is moved out of the INB ministry. 234 Chinese stocks makes it to the MSCI index for the first time ever. Changes are announced to the Indian basket as well. Markets are clearly cheering the Karnataka verdict. Benchmark indices are trading almost 1% higher. Neeraj is here with a closer look of what stocks are moving. Over to you, Neeraj.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Harsha. So it's an interesting reaction because banks took the early lead when we started off. But now look at what happened, what's happening in the markets today at this point of time. Yes, you have banks, HDFC Bank and Yes Bank right there. But the top 10 names have only 2 banking names. So banks, while are doing well, the other stocks are also come to the fore. Tata Steel, Titan showing a bit of a bounce back. Hindalco amongst the names which is doing very well. Oops, I think they've just gone back a bit. And then if you look at the broader, the losers out there as well, stocks like Tata Motors, etc. coming off. But as you can see, 8 out of the top 10 losers have losses which are sub 0.75%, which just shows the extent of the gains and the strength in the rally. Now switch focus to the mid cap and the small cap end of the market as well, and you will see, well, select stock specific moves happening, yes, but newsmakers taking center stage at the mid caps and the small caps and not really restricted to the large cap arena. So emphasis up about 5%. Select names, commodities are up and active. So Steel Authority of India is doing rather well for itself. Max Financial Services on news. United Breweries up about 1.5%. The losers include this Vakrangis and the Reliance Communications and the Renan Naval kind of names. So no big cracks coming in. Most of the names actually have fairly decent gains, and similar story in the small cap names as well. It's essentially newsmakers at the broader end of the spectrum, and large caps being dominated, at least were dominated to a large extent by banks. Now some of the other factors coming into play as well. Last but not the least, volatility. And I just want to bring up the last 8-day volatility picture on the screen, and you will see the difference. We had seen a steady build-up of volatility for the last few days. Look at this. This is the 8-day performance, and you see there's a steady upward trend. It started dipping a little bit day before yesterday, and in today's session there's a sharp crackdown in volatility. It's back to where it started off almost 10 or 11 days ago. So VIX is right now trading at the levels that it was trading at the start of the month. So big drop in volatility to be expected, Harsha.
That chart, volatility chart, pretty much looks like how the Karnataka election results played out in the first couple of hours at least, after which the BJP took off. It's put out a smile on the face of market experts as well. They see a clear mandate for the BJP government in the centre in the lead up to 2019. Yatin is standing by with some key highlights. Yatin.
Well, Harsha, most of the market participants we spoke to have been focusing on 2 key points. Number one is that the markets always like a stable set of governments, be it Congress or be it BJP, a stable, or a simple majority, something that the markets were looking at. Number two, since, we have been focusing a lot on the macro and the political front, now it's the time to focus on micros. We have the 4th quarter earnings going on. Probably that will also provide a fillip to the overall market conditions. Let's start with Nilesh Shah, and he believes that, like fund managers use the monthly data to sharpen their annual forecast about a company or a corporate, we'll have the Karnataka data point to probably look at 2019 general elections, and that will probably be something that the markets will be using to forecast the 2019 election outcome. We also have Vikas Khemani of Edelweiss, who believes that results are turning in line with the market expectations. The debate now shifts back to the micro versus macro. We also have Jinesh Gopani. He's the head of equity at Axis AMC. He believes that the stability is always good for continuity of reforms at the center. So probably the state government cumulatively will help the central government do a big role on the reforms front. Also, we have Swaroop Mohanty. He's from Mirai Asset Global Investment. He believes that this is now paving the way for the government to continue its path of governance. And also, they say that this will augur well for the overall prospects of the country's growth. Then, coming to Ritesh Jain, CIO at BNB Paribas, he believes that the fear of populism in terms of reforms has been put to rest. Having said that, when the liquidity is tightening globally, it is much more important to run a tighter fiscal policy and not deviate what has been promised to the government and the investors. So that is something which BNP Paribas is talking about. And we also have Ajay Srivastav, MDF at Dimensions Corporate Finance. He believes that the market is just happy with the stability and the victory of this BJP government. They'll consolidate and the trend will be positive moving forward. And finally, we have Jay Bala. He has been talking about the Karnataka election is just a trigger. The market is already bottom at 9950 on the Nifty, and uptrend was in place. 11,400 was always on the card. It's just a question of when. So, on a technical basis also, the market seemed to be ripe in terms of the up move that is expected to continue.
Okay, Yatin, thank you so much for that. We've got a whole host of voices to analyze the BJP spectacular victory in Karnataka. But first, Kaushik is standing by with the latest numbers. Kaushik.
At a little past 1 p.m., it is 108, 110 seats for the BJP. Remember, the halfway mark is 113. So just short of that, seats that could be covered either with the others tally or 2 seats that are yet to go in for elections. This is an election that swung for the BJP in the coastal Karnataka region and the central Karnataka region that was strong in 2008 but had lost to the Congress in 2013. So let's break that down for you district by district and tell you where this election swung. Let's first get to the district of Dakshin Kannada, which is the Mangalore city and the Mangalore region. In that region, the Congress had swept this in 2013, and this is the time the BJP has brought it back, winning all but 1 seat in the Dakshin Kannada region. If you look at that, that was 7-1 for the Congress in 2013. That's moved 7-1 for the BJP this time round. Just north of that is the district of Udupi. In Udupi, it's been a clean sweep for the BJP this time round. 5 out of 5 seats have gone to the BJP. It had only 1 seat before that. You move then to where Chief Minister in waiting B.S. Yadurappa has contested from and his stronghold of the district of Shivamoga. The BJP had gotten wiped out in this district in 2013 because Yadurappa was outside the BJP. This time around, they've clawed that back and taken 6 seats in that region. So let's zero in within this district now to particular seats. Yadurappa's own constituency of Shikharipura. Within that particular constituency, the Chief Minister in waiting, as we think we'd call him now, is leading by about 22,000 votes. Adjacent to that is another very senior BJP leader in the city of Shimoga. You have Ishwarappa leading there by again 30,000 votes. This leader is seen as somewhat of a rival to Yadurappa within what is potentially the BJP cabinet. We're looking and giving you the possible names of those who are likely to be senior ministers in the probable incoming government in Karnataka. You have the Chief Minister in waiting that we showed you. Ishwarappa is likely to be another one. And then let's get you to the 2-3 leaders whose re-entry into the BJP was very controversial. You have Somasekhar Reddy in Bellary city, who's leading by about 1,200 votes. On to his brother in Haranapalli, where you have Karunakar Reddy, who's again leading by about 4,000 votes. So both the Reddy brothers who got back into the BJP and contested this election are leading. Given their clout within the Bellary region, will they get cabinet berths in an incoming government? One would like to see whether that happens or not. Within the Bangalore city region, you have Padmanabhanagar, where a minister from the 2008 Yadurappa government, R. Ashok, he's leading by a good 20,000-30,000 seats votes as well. The one leader of the BJP who's found it tough to go along in this sweep is B. Sriramulu, who took on the incumbent chief minister. Remember that. So Sriramulu's trailing the outgoing chief minister Siddaramaiah by about 3,000, 4,000 seats. Votes.
Interesting that although we must point out that Siddaramaiah is trailing in Chamundeshwari or he's lagging.
He's trailing in Chamundeshwari to the Janata Dal secular candidate. This is the one where he's leading.
Okay, interesting that. Kaushik, thank you for that. But let's open this up for a conversation with the BJP. Gopal Agarwal joins us, Congress spokesperson Salman Soos. We're also joined by Sanjay Pugalia, director at Quint. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. Gopal, if I can start this conversation, it's a spectacular victory, no doubt. What to your mind has worked this time around when most exit polls seem to suggest a hung verdict? What do you think worked for you on the ground?
No, actually, from the start, day one, we were very sure that the people of Karnataka state are not happy with the Congress rule of 5 years. It was reaped into corruption. There was no development. There was no vision to integrate the state to the national development model which Modi ji was putting in place nationwide. They were not participating even in the Development Council meetings. Siddaramaiah, PM had invited him twice or thrice to participate in this Development Council meeting. He did not come for that. PM had also invited Mr. Siddaramaiah to come to China for accompany the Prime Minister. He did not. He refused that invitation. He did not go there. So this was the way the center had given to the state funds on smart city. There was only 15 to 20% amount that was spent on smart city. Even Manrega, the record was so dismal that only 10% of the fund allocated by the center were utilized by the state. The level of housing that the Karnataka state government had offered 1 lakh houses to the poor, only 26% people had applied, 26,000 people had applied for that houses because of its poor quality of construction.
Gopal, I take your point. You're essentially saying that the incumbent government had failed on the development mandate and therefore has lost the election. Salman Soz, if I can get you in as well. We saw a very aggressive campaign by Rahul Gandhi as well. What is your takeaway from this verdict? It comes as the numbers are stunning. It's been a decisive victory by the BJP. What to your mind didn't work for you for the Congress party?
Actually, first, from the Congress party's perspective, this particular government completed its full 5-year term, served the people of Karnataka. This is after decades that we've had a chief minister who's lasted his full term. And we did whatever we could for the people of Karnataka, and the people of Karnataka have voted now, and we must respect that. However, as you will see, for the last several hours, I've been checking the data. And what does the data say? The data suggests that over the last 3 or 4 hours, BJP's vote share has consistently come down and ours has kept going up. We're now, our vote share in Karnataka is the highest of all parties. That means I don't really think this is massive anti-incumbency as much as it is concentration of BJP seats in certain areas and perhaps some transfer of votes from JDS to BJP and from BJP to JDS. That may have resulted in this.
Salman, isn't that an admission of the last mile of electioneering and the machine that the BJP has in place that they concentrate their votes and convert them into seats? So if the Congress has had a higher vote share as per your latest numbers, but not been able to get that into concentrated areas where those convert into seats, that's then a question of whether the Congress has the ground machine in place to be able to defend and retake seats that it's won in the past.
Yes, look, I mean, it's a fair question. It's a totally fair question. But one thing that I want to convey here is that if you look at vote shares per se, just the vote shares, it seems to me that it isn't as if somehow magically the Prime Minister came and there was a huge increase in the vote share of the BJP compared to the last election. Remember the last election, they were fighting as 3 groups, the BJP proper, Yadurappa, and then Sri Ramalu. So there were 3 groups. They've come together and there's been some, I think, tactical kind of, there have been some tactical issues and we have to look at those. But mind you, for the rest of the country, the message should be, or seems to be, that still so many people, almost the same proportion of people who voted for the Congress in the last election have again voted for Mr. Siddaramaiah and the Congress party. What that suggests is that anti-incumbency, as we normally see it, may not be at work. It may be some tactical issues, some kind of issues with marginal kind of vote share here and there, and that's kind of resulted in this hugely disproportionate. By the way, let's keep in mind that we know that we have a first past the post system. But just one final point. We know we have a first past the post system, but see the disproportionate fact of just a little bit of the vote share difference, and I think that's what we need to figure out. And I'm frankly, I am disappointed, and we must congratulate BJP for doing so well.
Okay, Sanjay, what is your key headline from the Karnataka election this time around? I want to sort of open this up to the ramification this has on 2019 and what this means for the rest of the country. What's your first sort of takeaway?
The takeaway is that after Gujarat, Phulpur or Gorakhpur, if there was any kind of defensive approach by BJP, they have fully recovered and recovered well. What I think opposition is not able to realize is Mr. Modi runs a very mean and merciless election machine, and to use management jargon, he delivers each and every election with 6 sigma precision. That is why you may have more vote share for Congress party and still you are losing the state, and emphatically. So for BJP, it is a new march towards South India. That's what they will say, that we are no more a Hindi Bhashi party or a party limited to North India. We are ruling almost the entire country. This is a new normal that opposition parties and especially Congress is not able to figure out or comprehend, and not able to come up with a counter narrative and counter strategy. So they are concentrated in certain pockets and BJP still makes it very, very big. If that is the case, so imagining and saying that in North India BJP is on a downward spiral, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah can again prove us wrong by working on each and every constituency at booth level. It seems that Mr. Modi is present at every booth, and Congress campaign is happening in old style where they are looking at macro pictures, etc. And I think do not try to copy the emotional playbook of BJP, because you did it in the case of Lingayat getting minority status and it totally backfired on you. You have to come up with a new narrative, and Congress is still grappling with it.
Sanjay, I'm going to come to you back on the leadership of Rahul Gandhi in just a moment, but specifically on this Lingayat issue as well. Salman Soz, Birappa Moily went on record to say this backfired on us. This was a cauldron. We shouldn't have put our hand into it. This didn't work out the way we expected. Was this a strategic blunder by trying to divide the Lingayat vote?
But the Lingayat issue has been a long festering issue, and this is, and by the way, this is not just that the Congress party decided to come up with something. This has been a community demand for a long time. In fact, Mr. Yediyurappa is on record saying that he would like this to happen as well. So I think for the BJP to now say that you're dividing people is completely wrong. This is the most divisive party we've seen in the history of our country, and now they claim that we're the ones who are being divisive. We were actually doing what the community wanted us to do and what their chief ministerial candidate wanted us to do. So I think that is not the. We'll have to look at what happened really in terms of.
Sure, Gopal, can you respond to that?
No, the issue is that the Congress is not recognizing the true fact. Actually, when they try to blame the ruling party for their issue, it is not only the Lingayat issue. You understand the way politics was being run by Congress over the since independence. They were completely running a communal politics, communal campaign in the name of secularism, just merely calling your actions of divisive politics based on religion, caste, etc., and giving it a name of secularism doesn't make you secular. This camouflage campaign of communal politics played by Congress has been now identified by the people of the country. They just cannot cope up with the hypocrisy with which Congress plays communal politics, one thing. Second thing is, they are not actively working into the developmental agenda. They were, if they were working sincerely on a committed basis on the development, the condition of concentration of wealth in the country would not have been so worse. That the global wealth report says that 97% of our population does not have the net worth of even $10,000.
Okay.
That is the level of economic development. These are the issues that have been now completely negated by the people. People have understand that the Modi wants the development of the
Gopal,
poor,
just a moment, sir.
development
Sanjay
of the backward,
Sanjay, you have a point to
development
make.
of all regions, sabka saath, sabka vikas.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Harsha.
No, I thought you had a point to make.
No, I was listening to Mr. Gopal Agarwal.
Then let me shift focus and bring in another guest, a political analyst joining us as well, Preeti Nagraj from Bengaluru. Preeti, the whole election campaign that was in the last couple of months have been extremely aggressive on both sides. You had Rahul Gandhi and Modi. This was not a Yadurappa versus Siddaramaiah election. This was a Rahul Gandhi and Modi election. Were you surprised by the decimation of the Congress party? Were you surprised by the decisiveness with which the BJP has won this election?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said, the results are very surprising, not extremely surprising, but, somewhat surprising, because we didn't think Congress would, do so badly after. We thought at least, they would tally with each other, and we thought it is a very, very close fight, but looks like BJP has kind of surged ahead in terms of vote share. Though, looking at the vote share, Congress is about 0.5% ahead of BJP, but then the winners are the winners, because, that is where it matters. But then, without getting into hair-splitting details, yes, we thought Congress had played the Lingayat card well, and then the major community that votes any party into power would have stood by Congress conventionally in terms of a Lingayat leadership, but no, looks like Yadurappa being the Lingayat leader itself, and also the united front projected by BJP in terms of national leadership coming down, camping here, aggressively, campaigning every day. It has definitely helped, and this is the first time we've had a Prime Minister engage with the voters at the level Mr. Modi has done.
Okay, I just want to bring up one map, and this is the map of how India has become saffronized in a matter of 4 years compared to what it was in 2014. This is 2018 right now. The Congress is reduced to pretty much 2 states across the country. You've got Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Odisha, and West Bengal are the only, on the coastline, which are the only ones where the saffron surge has not extended. Sanjay, the question really is about, this boils down to 2 things. The Congress and its ability to form coalition. Has the Congress, in a sense, lost the ability to be the fulcrum of all the anti-BJP parties to come together?
Yeah, you are right. Congress is absolutely passive about it. They are not proactively trying to come up with a big idea of grand alliance based on certain clear and comprehensive strategies to counter BJP's political narrative. And they are only limited in their footprint in terms of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and few more states like Punjab. So, and in other states, they have to deal with the third party. So in Deve Gowda, in the case of Karnataka, they needed to talk to Deve Gowda first. They need to now talk to KCR. They need to talk to Chandrababu Naidu and Mamta and so on. So Congress thinks that we are, because only pan-national party, we are the principal opposition party, so people will come and talk to us and we will see. So basically laziness and using the old metrics to understand the politics that Mr. Modi is playing, and that is the biggest failure I see on the part of Congress party. To me it appears that Mr. Modi's campaign and planning already for 2019, as if election is just 1 month away. He must be sitting in March 2019 in terms of preparedness to the last detail. And Congress party hasn't yet met Mr. Pawar or Mayawati or Mamta or Akhilesh Yadav to come up with a grand alliance and follow and present a new deal to us.
I'm going to take that point further to Salman that Sanjay just made. There was a dinner that happened about a month ago, a month and a half back, at the residence of the former Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Deve Gowda chose to give that evening a miss. Isn't that where some sort of red flag should have gone up, saying what should have been opposition unity was frittering away, and some action needed to be taken? Somebody needed to pick up the phone and reach out and reach Mr. Deve Gowda. That's one half of the question. The second is the model that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has chosen to deploy into states. In Punjab, where there was success, in this state where you had a strong regional chief minister, and the possible strategy for Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, where certain leaders are being identified as the chieftains of that state. When such a setback happens, when you had an incumbent chief minister who ran a narrative of running a state a particular way and had certain regional identity, cards to play as well. Does that damage, Salman, the strategy from here in leaving this to regional leaders to run as independent of necessarily the image the party may have in Delhi?
Okay, so two-part question. But first, I think in terms of reaching out to other political parties is concerned, we have done that consistently. It may seem like we haven't, but we have. Whenever we've had some major issues in Parliament, for example, we fight those issues together with the rest of the opposition parties. Whether it's Mrs. Mamta Banerjee, whether it's Ms. Mayawati, whether it's Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, whether it is Mr. Sharad Pawar, we are in touch with pretty much everybody because we understand what is at stake for this country, and that is the very soul of this country. So we will do whatever is necessary to reach out and to form alliances wherever others are willing to partner. It's not as if the Congress party will basically say that we have to do this and every party will do that. Every party has to look after its own interests, but clearly the Congress party has to become the kind of unifying glue that we really need for an opposition front to emerge. As far as the specifics of the Karnataka case are concerned, frankly, I think as we saw in the media, I went to Karnataka, everybody was saying, and this is not just the Congress party, that the Congress party would at the very least be the single largest party. But what has happened here, in my view, is that despite this higher vote share, by the way, which is 1.4 percentage points greater than BJP share, according to the latest Election Commission data, not 0.5%, despite that, I think the way the seats have gone, I think that seems to me that there is some sort of issue at the last mile level, so to speak, and we have to look into that. But the Congress party will do whatever is necessary to make sure the BJP and its divisive politics does not succeed in 2019, because this country cannot go on the path that the BJP wants it to go on, because that could be disastrous for this country. As far as the BJP spokesperson saying that they're talking about development, I'm sorry. I mean, you're a financial channel. The economy is totally in very bad shape. Exports have declined, investment has declined, NPS have increased. The farmers are suffering. Job creation, they wanted 2 crore jobs a year, that is 8 crore jobs in 4 years, and so far they've created 18 lakh jobs.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I mean, there is no job creation. All the Achedin promises have not come through, and that is why they're facing these troubles.
Okay,
if
the
BJP was running a major
at least
wave
politically for them, Salman,
Karnataka,
today
then
elections have been won by the BJP in Karnataka. Gopal Agarwal, I'm just going to get a bunch of senior BJP leaders to react, or their reactions to this verdict in Karnataka before I come to you. Just hold a moment. Reactions of the BJP leaders to this victory.
So first of all, the credit should go to the people of Karnataka. Then, of course, Honorable Prime Minister has worked so very hard, and he is always a very popular leader, and his hard work has paid off. About Amit Shah, everybody knows he is a master craftsman when it comes to election strategy. He has put in place an excellent election strategy, and he has burnt a lot of midnight oil there. He spent a lot of time, lots of weeks in Karnataka. That also has paid off. I also would like to give credit to Karnataka's leadership and cadres, right from Yadurappa down to party cadres, especially to the Parivar. Telugu people have rejected Telugudesam Party's tactics, Chandrababu's misleading campaigns, and I would say BJP's southward march has begun.
कर्नाटका की जनता का हम सम्मान करते हैं, हमारी कृतज्ञता है उनके प्रति। हम उनको प्रणाम नमस्कार करते हैं कि हमारे विकास के एजेंडा को मोदी जी की अगुवाई में, अमित शाह की मेहनत ने, पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की मेहनत ने जनता ने स्वीकार किया है, और बार-बार कांग्रेस पार्टी ने विभाजक कैंपेन करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बीजेपी जीती है। ये विकास की विजय है और एक नए कर्नाटका की शुरुआत।
This is a real big victory for BJP, and we definitely owe it to our leaders and owe it to our workers and people of Karnataka. BJP is now synonymous with progress, prosperity, and peace, and also, importantly, the good governance. And that is what has catched imagination of people, and therefore people are electing BJP election after election. The message is very clear: BJP everywhere, Congress nowhere.
Those are some voices from the BJP. Gopal Agarwal, Ram Madhav makes a very interesting point, saying that this is one step in the BJP's southward march. What would be your strategy here on as far as the south is concerned? That's going to be critical. The four southern states, the five southern states are going to be critical as far as parliamentary elections in 2019 is concerned. You don't have an ally in Andhra. Would this be let's go it all alone in places like Kerala and Tamil Nadu where you don't have too much presence? What's going to be your approach to 2019?
No, for 2019, there is very clear that we have been systematically moving around in the south and states where our presence was low. Now our target is Kerala, then this West Bengal and Odisha are the three important states where our presence is low. We want to increase, and the states, people of those states are seeing they are ready for a change. The Kerala, there has been a lot of violence, communal violence, all kind of anti-national activities that are going on. People are fed up with the communist violence there. And the similar is the situation in the West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee has unleashed a completely violence on our Karyakartas. People, they are not fighting corruption, they are not trying to control corruption. And similarly, Odisha want a change. There has been a long reign of one single party, which people would prefer to see a change across the country. So these are the three important states that we would like to move ahead. One thing is that even Andhra, we have not yet even started. Only 2 days back that our party has appointed the state president. You see, we try to communicate with the people, we work with the people at the ground level. Party and the Karyakarta provide the last mile connectivity to all the vision of Narendra Modi ji. That's very important. Right. The structure which Amit Shah ji has created is taking the message. I would like to just mention one thing is that till you try, or everybody will try to read between the lines and analyze the micro issues for Congress defeat, you will never succeed. You see the larger picture. Yeah. Larger picture is that the Congress, just a 30-second more. Yeah. The 30-second more. The Congress party is only working for one family, and that too only Rahul Gandhi. They have no regard for the common citizens, common people of the country, and that also people have realized the only objective of Congress party is to promote one family, have power for that family, work for that family, and that too only a single Rahul Gandhi. That is the basic macroeconomic problem that the Congress faces. Otherwise, how can he declare himself the Prime Minister candidate even when he is trying to have a coalition?
You asked for 30 seconds.
He has not even won the Karnataka.
We'd like to move the conversation forward here. Preeti Nagraj, I saw that you wanted to make a point. I just wanted to come to you with a question first. How different will this presumed Yadurappa government will be different from the one in 2008? In 2008, was it a single-handed victory on his side? So the checks and balances that the party would do in Delhi from then to now would be very different. Also because of who else is back in the party, that there will be a more controlled government from Delhi into Karnataka that Mr. Shah, Mr. Modi and others would like to deploy from what the party did in 2008.
The main difference is going to be the change in the solid foundation of the party leadership as far as BJP is concerned. Earlier we've had in 2008, it was Yadurappa alone. What I'm saying is this shouldn't be actually considered as a march of BJP into South India, because BJP had already had a government in South India in 2008, and Yadurappa alone had taken the party to victory. But then that was based on many different aspects, including Vakaligas wronging the Lingayats being one. Yadurappa is seen as a mass leader of Lingayats, and because he wasn't handed over the power as far as the agreement with JDS was concerned, he kind of won on somewhat a sympathy support. So that was the first time BJP made its headway into South India. And now how the situation changes is that Yadurappa is now no more, he doesn't have to fight it all alone. Earlier, the interference from the Ballari brothers and the mafia, the mining mafia and all that, he had to kind of resolve these issues without giving much space for administration. He had to resolve these issues all by himself, or there were too many differences within the party, which was pretty evident in 2008. But in 2008 to 2013, we saw 3 chief ministers of BJP alone. And when they come back to power now in 2018, there is a solid leadership at the top of at the top level of the party, and they have almost taken over the entire India with their victory march. So I think Karnataka government will also go in tandem. I'm not sure if they have reached the magic number yet, which is 113 required, 112 required to form a government. But when it happens, I think when it happens, this is going to be a major change in terms of the approach of Karnataka government towards giving an able administration. We hope it's going to be a positive.
Okay. Sanjay, one last question to you. How does this now put into place what's going to happen in MP, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan? In MP and Chhattisgarh, you have 3 terms of the BJP government. In Rajasthan, it's 1 term. It's well and good to claim and promise farm loan waivers in Uttar Pradesh or in Karnataka when you're the challenger. So you're able to pitch a lot as the alternative to the voter, but you have the next set of elections where you have the BJP as the ruling party. How does the message change for that?
Yeah, so one simple analysis could be that Karnataka mandate is about anti-incumbency. Accordingly, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan should be very tough for BJP. BJP knows it very well, and we have been talking a lot about that. In Rajasthan, BJP is in bad shape. In Madhya Pradesh, it could be a shade better, but not great shape. And Chhattisgarh, even though Congress should do well after 3-term incumbency of Mr. Raman Singh, Ajit Jogi's party is third factor like JDS in Karnataka. So BJP gets emboldened from this point and tries to work very, very hard in these states. But these are the states for Congress party to lose after 15 years incumbency for BJP. And again, I'm coming back to the same thing. How do you fight this merciless mean Modi machine when it comes to managing an election? And here Congress is absolutely, I have no problem in saying that they are showing that they are in kindergarten level, and Mr. Modi is running a PhD university.
Interesting comparison that. Salman, so is coming on this. For Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, would you be open to pre-poll alliances that make electoral arithmetic rather than going it alone and finding yourself in a bit of a quandary?
But we are in a direct contest with the BJP in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, and in Chhattisgarh. So to the extent that there are opposition parties who want to take the BJP on, and they want to work with us, and we see that there is an opportunity for that, why wouldn't we consider it? Of course we'll consider it. But I think, look, right now, as results are coming in, and as more of the rural vote is coming in, we are looking at some shifts in the seat counts as well. So let's wait till the final results are out, because even though everybody said that the BJP's got, earlier they were saying 120 seats, I think right now we're seeing that BJP is now at about 106 seats according to the latest tally, and these are leads for the most part. So I think there is a shift in what has been happening over the last couple of hours. They've done really well, primarily because their seats are concentrated. They've I think won in a lot of places by small margins, or are leading in by small margins. So I think this is not over yet. Let us wait for the final tally.
One question to Gopal Agarwal on this. Do you then pitch the next 3 elections as the record of the state chief ministers, or do you then send Mr. Modi in again in those last 2 weeks before an election to say, here's what we're pitching for you to vote us again? Remember what will happen at that point of time, because you'll be 6 months close to the end of that term. So it will be an election where it also becomes a referendum on pretty much all of Mr. Modi's tenure.
Definitely, all elections are very tough. We fight the election with the same spirit, and Modi ji is our dominating leader. He is the leader under whose guidance and leadership under whose vision we are working. So he will lead our campaign, and Amit Shah ji is creating that infrastructure to communicate this message to the people of the country. That's very important. But I would like to tell you this similar kind of narration, that what will happen in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. Same thing, you just tell me what was the narration in Gujarat when we went to election, that no, there is an anti-incumbency, the Congress is rising and the BJP will have a tough time, BJP will not win. Similar was the campaign in Karnataka, that BJP will not win. It is the Congress wave everywhere, Tripura, everywhere. This is the narration which is being created by some of the vested interests in the media, etc. They always start with this, that BJP is on the losing ground. BJP, later on when they see that the campaign of BJP is picking up, then they start saying, no, there will be hung, there will be no decisive mandate for the people. And finally, when the result comes, they start blaming the EVM. They do not introspect. So this narration we have seen several times. We are not getting bogged down by this. We know the people want Modi ji's leadership. They want him for another term in 2019, and that is our agenda. That is our work. We have a lot of unfinished work that we would like to finish in 2019. We are here to stay for many more years.
Today is a reason for you to smile. You won the elections in Karnataka. At least you're leading to form the next government. Salman, last word with you.
I think, I know BJP has a lot to celebrate and we have a lot to introspect. But I must say that, when Tripura, because the gentleman spoke about Tripura, when Tripura, BJP converted anti-incumbency of so many years and into a great victory, and congratulations for that as well. After that, everybody started saying, oh, by the way, these guys, BJP is now a lock for 2019. And I'm sure we're going to have similar stories now. But after that, what happened? In Phulpur and Gorakhpur, the BJP lost the Lok Sabha seats of the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister. In the last 10 Lok Sabha by-elections, BJP has not won a single one. Congress has won 4, and the other opposition parties have won 6. Yes, so things are not, I think the election of 2019 is still wide open.
Okay, fair enough. Salman Soos, Gopal Agarwal, many thanks indeed for joining us with the two parties, the principal parties' point of view. But the game is still on. Look at the score below. The BJP has, on our numbers, is leading in 108 seats. Let's also welcome in one of the best-known psephologists in this country, Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra, thank you so much indeed for joining us. What have you made of the numbers so far in Karnataka? And what, to your mind, do you see this as a decisive victory by the BJP? What has worked for them?
I should begin with a clarification. That I am no longer a psephologist. Okay. I belong to a political party which contested elections, so I don't need to, I just want to put it on table. On what has happened, there is an election outcome and there is a message. If you were to look at this outcome as a scientist, as someone who closely looks at data, you would find that this is not a knockout. It's a technical victory. BJP has won a clear political victory, but it's not like BJP has 10% swing or 8% swing. I don't know what the final picture looks like, but last when I checked half hour ago, BJP and Congress in terms of vote share were almost equal. So it's not that there's a huge popularity wave. What the BJP has done is very skillfully brought back all the 3 fractions that BJP was divided into last time. Number 2, they have strategized very well, very careful micromanagement, and very careful pushing of agenda and narrative. So that's how I would interpret it if I were to look at it as simply an analyst. But there is a message, and the message is much bigger than the actual verdict. The message is that it may be a technical victory for BJP, but it's a comprehensive defeat for the Congress. And the narrative that the Congress had begun developing, which is Congress is on the way back. Post-Gujarat, this was the Congress narrative. Congress is coming back, surging back, Congress is on the way back. That gets punctured today. That gets busted today. It's quite clear. If Congress cannot retain Karnataka, God knows what Congress would be able to retain. Remember, here is a state where BJP had more internal dissension than anywhere else. In Karnataka, the BJP was more tainted by corruption than almost Congress, which is a great achievement. And in Karnataka, there was no grand, overwhelming anti-incumbency against the Congress government. Despite all this, if Congress manages to lose, then it's a very major statement. And this is something which is bound to influence 2019. The road to 2019 now gets very much difficult for the Congress. There is a clear vacuum in opposition. Regional parties will obviously play far more role, but the Congress and the opposition in general does not have a narrative to play before the country. That gets exposed in what is otherwise a very ordinary, very small and technical verdict.
Yogendra, you can understand the coming together of those three factions in the districts of Belgaum, in the districts of Shimoga, in parts of Raichur, in parts of Bellary as well. But can you explain what's happened along the coast? There's been traditionally part of what the Sangh Parivar, where it was strong, had other affiliates as well. That's not got to do with these people who've come back to the BJP. Have they been able to flip the districts of Udupi, Uttara Kannada and Dakshin Kannada and Mangalore and those regions? What's led to that shift back to the BJP?
As you know, I mean, you clearly seem to know the geography very well. As you can see, these are the areas which have been communally very, very sensitive. And it's not recent, it's for quite some time that these have been very communally sensitive. The BJP did manage to ignite the communal forces there. The Sangh Parivar was very much in action. But I must say that BJP's attempt to create this wave throughout the state of Karnataka, to make it Hindu-Muslim question throughout Karnataka, did not succeed. So it's only in parts of coastal Karnataka that it worked, where the BJP has reaped dividend. But BJP's success cannot be reduced only to coastal Karnataka. The fact is that in Mumbai, Karnataka, BJP has done very well, while the Congress could not do it in Hyderabad, Karnataka. So while BJP's success is limited, Congress's failure is quite obvious and quite, out there.
Yogendra, so again, the run-up to 2019, two questions really. You mentioned that the counter narrative is really not building up. What can that counter narrative be, and who will be leading that? Would the KCR-led third front or the second front, as the case may be, gain momentum after this verdict? Do you see the non-BJP forces coming together that excludes the Congress?
That's the real question for the country. I do believe, I know it's a difficult day to say that, but I do believe that a certain disillusionment and a certain fatigue with the Prime Minister has set in. We can see that even in Karnataka, if there was that overwhelming sentiment for Modi, if there was a Modi wave, BJP should have had 5-6 percentage votes more than the Congress. BJP should have been sitting at 160, 180 seats. That has not happened. So a certain fatigue has set in with Modi, but the Congress is simply not seen to be deserving of so the BJP is losing, but Congress is not gaining. That is the vacuum. Who would fit in there? Of course, opposition parties will come in. Of course, regional parties will come in. Of course, they would find an alliance. But my understanding is that merely putting together an alliance of all the oppositional forces is not going to work. So if you have a platform on which you have KCR, you have Mamata Banerjee, you have Lalu Yadav, you have Mayawati, you have Rahul Gandhi, is that going to enthuse the Indian voter? It will have a coalitional benefits, yes. But you need more than that. You need to sell a vision.
I'm going to break each of those down.
A dream. The trouble is that the opposition doesn't have one.
Okay, I just wanted to break each of those down and get your insight on each of them. In West Bengal, on the same day as Karnataka, voting in local elections in West Bengal, you had all parties come together against Mamata Banerjee. That included parts of the left, part of the BJP and the Congress that came together in some sort of understanding about who was standing where in the seats that were contested. Many were uncontested. So what is Mamata Banerjee's incentive to go towards the rest of the parties when everybody is contesting against her in some form together? In Karnataka, you had, as mentioned earlier on this show, Deve Gowda, who stayed out of that Sonia Gandhi dinner. in Tamil Nadu, you have the DMK that's going in and meeting the Prime Minister at the cost of perhaps the Congress getting jitters about that alliance. So is the Congress even keeping it who it could keep together anymore?
Yeah, so there are two questions. One is, do opposition parties at all have any incentive of coming to Congress? They need to gain something when they ally with Congress. In many states, Congress is a liability. Congress is a non-existent partner. Congress is a reluctant partner. So yes, they would not be very enthused. And the other question is, even if you have them with you, if Congress stands with Mamata Banerjee, would Congress be able to say, we are trying to protect democracy after what Mamata Banerjee has done yesterday in West Bengal? This was the most brazen display of violence, brutality and Gundaism to suppress democracy in that state. So the same Mamata Banerjee who does that, who the entire opposition says she does that, can they now sit with her and claim to save this country's democracy from Mr. Modi? The whole thing looks so farcical. And that, to my mind, is the real problem today in the country. There is an oppositional vacuum. And the vacuum cannot be filled merely by putting all these pieces together. There has to be a vision, there has to be a dream, there has to be a narrative, and there is none right now.
Just one takeaway from this for the BJP. You know, the BJP is well aware of its weaknesses in the south. How will this interpret this victory in Karnataka? And can that translate into the four or five southern states where it doesn't have significant presence, nor does it have reliable allies?
Look, this whole thing of BJP breaking the Vindhyas and making an entry, this is something that happened 25 years ago. 1991 is when BJP actually made its first big entry in Karnataka. So the real puzzle of the South Indian BJP in South India has been why BJP has been unable to build on that spectacular success of 1991. It's more or less stayed there. I do not think the success in Karnataka translates into Kerala. I don't see that connecting at all. I do not see that affecting Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Chandrababu Naidu tried very hard to do something in Karnataka. It just doesn't work. UP doesn't translate in Bihar. Bihar doesn't translate in Jharkhand. We have state-wise polities which are very, very different. So in that sense, I do not see this whole thing of South India now opening up for BJP. That's publicity, that's PR. But what does happen is that BJP is now able to say, yes, our march continues, which is very hard for opposition to refute.
So there's one, I was listening to your list very closely, and there was one state's name that you did not mention. And that's the one state, funnily enough, that nobody's talking about. State elections are contiguous to the Lok Sabha elections, were they to happen in April, May 2019. That's Odisha. Explain how that's going to lay out, and that's perhaps likely to play out 2021 Lok Sabha seats and 117 assembly seats. You have a chief minister who's done 4 terms. On the other side, you are seeing the BJP give increasing prominence to its leaders from that state. Your play in Odisha, since you left it out of that list, Yogendra.
Odisha is important. BJP can do well, though it has nothing to do with Karnataka victory. The case of Odisha is classical. Congress is in opposition now for almost 15 to 20 years, but it does not do any opposition. This is exactly what Congress used to do in Gujarat. This is the story of Madhya Pradesh. This is the story of Chhattisgarh. Congress is nominally in opposition but does not offer opposition, so there is a room for a genuine opposition. This is what happened in Tripura, and BJP is trying to fill that. BJP is making rapid strides. I do not know if the BJP would be able to overcome the BJD and Trump, but certainly that's one area where BJP is making big gains. Initially from the Panchayat results, it seemed BJP was making bigger gains. Now it seems those gains are limited. But yes, certainly, BJP knows that they will lose massive number of seats in Uttar Pradesh, in Rajasthan, possibly in Madhya Pradesh. They need to make up somewhere. And the places where they think they would make up are Odisha. They think they would make up something in West Bengal, although in West Bengal the space is much less. And they would try and have some franchisee arrangements in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. That's what BJP's strategy would be.
Yogendra, always a pleasure. Many thanks indeed for joining us with your views, interesting perspectives. That's a special show on elections 2018. We'll get back to the markets on the other side. Thank you so much for watching.